I don't know about you guys, but for me, I need to be excited. Didn't really put too much thought into this one, honestly, but the general premise is the fact that I can't just do anything like for monetary gain, I suppose. Like, seriously, no matter what the job is, no matter how much it pays me, no matter what the opportunity can get me financially, if I'm not interested, chances are I'm not going to be there for very long. It's just what I have to at least be interested in what I'm learning, I suppose, like the art form or not even the art form, because usually this has nothing to do with art, is like a job. For instance, like I currently do like basically it's sales in a way, but not really, but something like that. At least I'm mildly interested in sales to even apply to the job in the first place. But for when I used to work something like security, from the first month I dreaded it. I only really lasted 6 months, but also I find ways to get out of situations in a very amicable manner, knowing that the I always like secure my next venture before I go. But it's like some things, like no matter how well it pays or how cool it supposedly is, if I'm not there mentally, it's torture, literally. So how can this apply to you? Well, if you're like me, look back in your life, find things that you actually find joy in. And a lot of times, you might find that it may be something that you initially didn't enjoy, but you've come to enjoy. Like for instance, um, when I was younger, I do like public speaking. Didn't really initially enjoy it all that much, but as I got older, I found value and I thought it was fun and this and that, and that's something I seek to do now. Like, not everything is necessarily something that you were born loving, but in the very least, something that you probably started loving before you became an adult with lots of responsibilities. Because when that happens, most of anything else that you learn afterwards is usually almost like a necessity or like a way to make money and not necessarily done out of just love. And that's what I try to do. I find things I could do through just love and something that I would do without, even if I didn't get paid for it. That's like the basic idea. So yeah, for instance, the security job I had, maybe I could have learned to love it, but at the same time, in the space I was at the time, that was very unlikely. So you just have to know yourself. Like, if you know that you probably have run out of things that you will learn to love, if there is no like, what's the word? There's no history of you possibly loving it. Like, I make beats, I make music, and I love it. But before I did, because I started making beats probably around the age of 19, 20. I'm like 26 now. So, but before I did, all my life growing up, I always loved listening to music, right? So even though I didn't start making beats until like later on in life, technically, like relatively speaking, obviously, because 26, my current age isn't very old, but relatively speaking, it was something newer that I still found love for, but that's because the basic principles of it I've always loved. I loved going on SoundCloud, listening to these cool producers that made things that I've never heard before in ways that were expansive. Like, because I'm someone who really likes to daydream, so anything that puts me in that mode of daydreaming, it's really something I enjoy. So that's usually like music and making music, maybe movies, but even then, it's like, do I love it? And that's the main point. That's the main point. Go back through your history. Go back to when you were a child. Figure out the things that you loved, then do your best to pursue it. And it doesn't have to be a whole big jump. Just do it. Take small chunks of it at a time. Start as a hobby, then maybe a side hustle, eventually maybe a full-time job. And honestly, that's not even really the point. To make it to make it your job, but make it a point for it to be a part of your life. That's the main thing. Not necessarily making money from it, but doing it so that you love it, doing something that you love and being able to share with others regardless of the end result, right? I think that's the most important thing. But of course, you should probably find a job that you love too. Yeah, so that's the end of the video. See you next time.